But when do you push that aside and become a little bit empathetic and and become relatable and human? We're not robots. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, Brandon, I would tell you this, like, I struggled. And me sitting here today on June 11th talking about this without crying, getting to the point, sobbing to the point that, you know, my snot's coming out. You can hardly understand why. I will 100% say that's growth.
Absolutely.
I've come a long way in the past 8 months
Hmm.
because I couldn't. Don't get me wrong, I have my moments,
Hmm.
but I know how to deal with it now, and that's what therapy for. That's what going to therapy for me has taught me how to deal with it. I've learned how to breathe. Um, I've learned so many different um, techniques to help me through that. Excuse me. My children even say like in certain situations where they think I'm a spaz, and then like they're like, oh, she's not gonna. Oh, and then they see a different way of me responding. I That's growth right there, and that recognition that my children acknowledge that is everything to me because I know that I'm doing something right, but it's still not 100%. You know what I mean? I'm not.
It's a
I
it's a
don't think.
good feeling to see people that you care about caring about you and noticing that you're, I want to say getting better, but you're on the road to improvement. It's always cool to see that the ones you care about recognize that.
Yeah, and it's hard because, like I said, it's not just your professional life that gets all. It's our personal life. You know, you're married, I am as well, and it's
Yeah, I almost got kicked out the house a few times, but yeah, it definitely affects things at home for sure, and not just at home, but your loved ones in general.
yeah,
Like you said before, you get to a point where you just cut everybody off and kind of tuck away, and don't even want to look at yourself in the mirror. Um, and I was there for a while, as you know.
I know. I was there first, and then
Yeah, yeah, and it's crazy. We didn't talk about this before, but now I'm thinking about it now. When I was really, because I was depressed, and I just kept getting more and more and more depressed and more depressed, and I thought it was because of my boss at the time. And it sounds stupid, but this woman's evil, and she legit had me. Anxiety was something I never experienced until I had to deal with her, him, who knows, my boss. Uh, but I, for the longest time, thought it was because of that, and I was taking it home with me and this and that. I don't know if I was necessarily making up an excuse, but I just thought that was the root cause. And then not too long ago, that same boss got terminated for treating uh, the management below her poorly. Um, and her boss's boss came and started interviewing all of her.
so it was
Uh,
okay to treat you that way, but when it was someone below you, that's when it became not okay. Is that what I'm understanding?
huh?
You said it was someone below you or below
No,
her.
no. So she was treating all of her, I guess, subordinates very poorly.
Well,
Um,
if this is same person I know.
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely.
Believe me, I'm firsthand.
You were a victim as well,
I was,
definitely.
yeah,
And
and
when those inner,
you know, I was like throwing up blood
hmm
from both ends
and
because of the stress.
when her boss's boss came and started asking questions, I told him about all of that stuff too. I laid it all out. Said it all started back when I was. But she ended up getting terminated at the end of the day for gross misconduct. So, so that happened, and I was excited. I was like, okay, I would say excited, a little relieved. It's never exciting when somebody loses their job, no matter how bad their intentions may be. Um, but the depression was still there, and that's when I got real scared, and that's when it got worse. Because now the thing that I thought was causing that depression was gone, and I still felt depressed. And because of that, I got more depressed, and it just started spiraling quicker than ever. And I was just spiraling and spiraling out of it, and uh, every little thing seemed to kind of. Now, I'm not a doctor, or an expert on the mental health or depression or any of that. For the longest time, I didn't consider myself depressed. I just thought I'm going through some things like everybody else. I just got to man up, nut up, take care of it, handle business, keep it moving. Um, but yeah, I was depressed, and and when I started bringing it home after my boss was released, that's when my wife started getting real concerned, and she had basically, said, "Hey, if uh, if you don't care enough to help yourself, that makes me think you don't care enough to help us." And that's kind of when it really sunk in. Like, yeah, yeah. I mean, I care about her, but if I don't care about myself, then and I was, thinking about, those dark thoughts, those intrusive thoughts, as well, and that's kind of when it hit home for me when she had spoken on that, and that's when I reached out to the therapist, started talking to the therapist, and it kind of helped, but it didn't. Um,
I just think you
uh,
didn't. I just think you didn't find the right person.
I think so too. I'm very, very, very. It's hard to gain my trust, I think,
I
and
was just
that's
talking about
just
that in therapy today.
yeah.
It's very hard for me
It's yeah because for
because
me,
we're control freaks. I'm a
and
control
it,
freak.
and what's funny is we don't have to hide the fact that you were my boss at one point, um, who got connected through a friend, a mutual friend, and I had made a comment to him way back then, like, because she's the coolest boss ever, the best boss ever has, like dope, dope. I was like, well, I'm not going to go in there being her best friend, you know, stuff like that's built over time. You can't just go in and start hitting the ground running. No, you got to have those experiences, have those moments, and build that relationship, whether it be with your boss or a friend or your spouse. But but yeah, those are things that are built over time, and that's how the trust is earned and that loyalty. Um, I like to consider myself as pretty dang loyal, and I think that's why the people that I have as friends are very close friends. Um, but at the end of the day, they're the ones that made me want to kind of think outside the box when it came to my mental health. I was about to go see a therapist, sit down, talk. Well, my wife's doctor, actually. I was going to get connected with her and try to figure out something with medication. Maybe I needed medication. Maybe my brain just wasn't wired right. I just wasn't in a good place at all. Um, Even physically, like that mental health, it affects you physically too.
Yeah, I've gained 50 pounds.
Mhm. Yeah, I was getting there. I was getting there, and then the thinking outside the box part came when my mother, who also suffers from some things as well, started this thing called the carnivore diet, and she had told me my depression cleared, and I lost weight, I don't have to take certain medications anymore, and I was like, okay, that's stupid. Yeah, right. So a couple weeks went by, and she was actually getting better. Like these things that she was talking about were coming true. So that's when I kind of started digging into it and doing some research and watching YouTube and all the videos. And then you see nothing but um, girls, guys, uh, starting this diet and for different reasons, autoimmune disease or depression or weight loss. But doing that way of eating kind of fixes all of that stuff. So I said, I'm desperate. I'll try it. If I have to take medication, at least, like I said, I tried something, and I'd be damned if by the second or third day I felt better, like better. Like I was driving to work, like looking out the window, So that was a huge game changer for me. And even now, because I'm only 16 days in, um, even my wife is like, "What the heck?" Like she's kind of taken back by it, and people at work are taken back by it. But that's the kind of one of the messages I like to try to spread too. Like, you know, before you think about going and getting medication, and some people do need medication. Like, there's certain things that you have to get medicated for. Um, I'm not against that at all. I'm just shocked that eating can change so much in your bio, everything, the way you think, the way you feel, uh, injuries that they say can only be fixed by certain medications, like whether it be joint pain, uh, get fixed, your body heals it, your liver obviously heals on its own. Testosterone's been shown to improve, which doctors say once you lose it, you lose it. But blood tests show on multiple people that it improves. And I feel that myself from someone who used to lift a lot of weights and someone who used to experiment with, different supplements. Uh, I can honestly say that I'm not on any kind of medication, any kind of supplements other than magnesium and calcium because I'm eating meat. Um, but yeah, it's crazy how your life, for me at least, can just be flipped around like that. And I don't know how I got to talking about that from Safe Place, but
Well, that's what makes you feel. Well, that's what's helping you with your Sorry, I have to fix my chair.
oh, by the way, I just
That's
saw
what.
there's a pause button on here too. So if anytime we need to take a break, we can pause the video and take a break.
Oh.
I just thought I'd let you know.
But that's what's making you feel healthy. But really quick, I touched a little bit on OCD, and I wanted to read you. I wanted to read you this handout. It's called OCD mode. It's a OCD motivational letter.
I'm gonna take notes if you don't mind.
When I first read this, when I tell you I wasn't in a good place, and like I felt like I was writing this letter to myself.
It's a letter you wrote.
It's not I wrote.
Oh.
No. This isn't a like one of my therapist books, and she was so I'm her first OCD patient. And so she's very good like at wanting to, like, she doesn't act like she knows what she's taught. Like she said, you're my first OCD patient, so I wanted to read up on it and familiarize myself with it and whatever. So when she read this motivational letter, OCD motivational letter, she thought of me because it's everything that I've been talking about.